No one has been a more vocal or consistent critic of the nuclear deal with Iran than Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He says the deal is a roadmap for an Iranian nuclear weapon and has made no secret of his displeasure with the Obama administration over it. Israeli officials are also lobbying members of Congress to vote against it. Joel Rosenberg, author and former aide to Prime Minister Netanyahu, joins us now from Tel Aviv. Mr. Rosenberg, appreciate you being with us. Good Saturday evening to you. One thing that's broken over the past couple of days is a report out of Israel that Ehud Barak, the former defense minister, told his biographer, among others, that Prime Minister Netanyahu on 3 separate occasions wanted to attack Iran and did not. Is this really as big of a deal as it seems on paper, and what's the reaction in Israel to this news?
Well, it's very interesting, Leland, because you've got a situation which a former Israeli defense minister, in my view, shouldn't have been talking about this at all, to a biographer now or later. I mean, this is a very, very sensitive issue. And Barak's own admission, he was supportive of these attacks, but the cabinet didn't feel that the time was right. But what this shows is how serious both Netanyahu and Barak, and most of the cabinet, but not all, believe this issue is. Remember, we're dealing in Iran not with a moderate regime that's trying to find its way into the international community. You're dealing with an apocalyptic, genocidal death cult. This is a group of leaders led by Ayatollah Khamenei who believe the end of days has come and that their Messiah, the Mahdi, or the 12th Imam, is coming to reign over the world at any moment, and that they need nuclear weapons to destroy not just one country, Israel, which they call the Little Satan, but the United States, which they call the Great Satan. The threat to Israel and the United States is enormous.
I get that the threat's there. There's no argument there. But the issue of whether or not Israel would launch unilateral military action has been one that Prime Minister Netanyahu has been incredibly coy about over and over and over again. And it's been one card that he's used to press the Obama administration hard in terms of trying to have some kind of leverage on Capitol Hill. And what I'm wondering is now that this news is out, that 3 times he said, let's go, and his cabinet said no, and there wasn't an attack, doesn't that all of a sudden really weaken the Israelis' position internationally and sort of make the threat of unilateral military action irrelevant?
No, I think quite the contrary. What it shows is intent. What you've got is a decision which it's a very difficult situation, right? But the Prime Minister and much of his cabinet, the question was, can we build up more capacity to strike Iran when the time is right? It's capacity and timing. Part of the timing issue, Leland, was would the United States, under President Obama, keep its word, which said that the goal of the negotiations was to end, not legalize and extend, but end the Iran nuclear program. So you wanted to wait to see, okay, maybe the president will keep his word on this. That has not been the case. And now 8 in 10 Israelis believe this deal threatens the very security, not only of Israel, but obviously of our ally, the United States. And more than half of Israelis believe that the Prime Minister should be doing everything possible to neutralize this threat. And almost half of Israelis are ready for a war if needed. That's how serious this is.
That's what I wanted to sort of talk to you a little bit about. There's an old joke, at least when I lived in Israel, there was, that if you want 4 opinions, ask 2 Israelis. The question being, though, going forward, it seems as though every Israeli I talk to is pretty universal in their opinion that this is a bad deal and this makes Iran a much greater threat to Israel. What they're not necessarily all in lockstep about is whether or not Israel should take unilateral military action. What I'm wondering is when you're on the street there, do people seem coalesced around the idea that they should see how things play out a little while longer, or is now go time?
Well, the only person who can decide if it's go time or people is the cabinet, because they have the intelligence right in front of them to show them, do they have to go? Is there no other option? Or are there other ways to slow down or neutralize the threat? Nobody here wants to go to war if it's not necessary. But everyone's ready to go to war if it is necessary. One of the questions now is, could Israel hold on until the next election in the United States to see if a president who is more sympathetic to its most favored and faithful ally in the Middle East, Israel, as well as our Arab allies, would have a change of policy from President Obama. Look, you also have Democrats emerging right now. Senator Menendez,
right.
Senator Schumer, who are putting national security above their own political fortunes. So I don't think this is the moment to strike. It's the moment to try to get Congress to go against the deal.
Well, there's obviously a lot of lobbying going on Capitol Hill. And as you pointed out, Israel and the Iran deal is a big issue here in the 2016 elections. We'll see how it all plays out. Appreciate your insights. Joel Rosenberg from Tel Aviv.
My pleasure.
All the best.
Thank you.